Hello Year 10, welcome to the week beginning the 22nd of June. After spending a couple of weeks on question 5 for both language papers, we are spending this week looking at Inspector Calls again, so back to literature paper 2. So the objective this week is to complete an exam style question from Inspector Calls with the keywords intention and craft. So we're looking at writer's intention and the way that he uses certain language and structure devices to create and to show his intentions. So it's a bit more like a lesson in terms of a class lesson this week, in the sense we've got a do now, an introduction, a main body and a conclusion or a plenary. So this is what we need to do as you'll do now. I want you to write at least 2 adjectives describing the below. So get yourselves a Word document open, preferably, please. And I want you to write at least 2 adjectives describing the below. Mr. Arthur Burling, so 2 adjectives describing him. Sheila Burling, 2 adjectives describing her. 2 adjectives describing Inspector Gould. 2 adjectives describing the mood in the exposition, so in the beginning, and the mood when the inspector arrives. Another 2 adjectives, please. So that's your starter, or you'll do now. Reminder of what the exam looks like. It is on Literature Paper 2, Section A, so it's the first question you'll need to come to on Paper 2, Section A. It's worth 34 marks, and this question with 4 of these marks are for SPAG. Okay, you get a choice between 2 questions in this section, so you get 2 Inspector Calls questions. You only do 1. You don't have time to do both, and it would be silly to do both because you don't actually get any more marks for doing both. You're just going to waste time. 1 is usually a character question and 1 is usually a theme. Today we're looking at a character question, and you're going to plan a question and then write a full response, your full 4-paragraph response. Okay. 1 paragraph will be written for you today as an example, so you can then follow that to do the rest of your plan. And the idea is to follow the notion of 3 keywords for each character that you have in your mind for the exam, okay, and 1 adjective. So basically, when you come to do your exam next May or June time, whenever the official release date is that we're given, you're going to the exam with 3 keywords for each character, and I'll show you what I mean in a second by that, and 1 adjective. Okay, so that's all you need for your plan. 4 paragraphs, 3 keywords and an adjective, and that will form your 4-part essay response. Okay, so just an introduction first of all to this week's lesson. I want you now to recall these things from Act 1. I want you to write down 5 important things that happen in Act 1. So perhaps start from the beginning, think about the engagement and work your way through Act 1 from there. 4 characters that we meet, so think about the first character we come to, who's all sitting round the dining table, and write 4 down. 3 quotes from Act 1, so again think about Act 1 and what happens and the key quotes. 2 stage directions, think perhaps about how the lighting changes before the inspector arrives and then when he does arrive, and 1 quote about the housemaid or what she says. Okay, I'm going to send you this as a separate Word document so you can print this and keep this for revision, but these are the key quotes you need ever for all of the characters, okay? I won't read you them individually, but we are going to need the Sheila ones for this session. Okay, so we're going to pretend we're now in an exam, okay? And the question for this week is, how is the character of Sheila Burling presented in Act 1? So first of all, before we do any planning, any writing, anything at all, I want you to do the following 6 things. Okay, so you're going to need your quote page, and you're going to need this slide in front of you along with your Word document. First of all, you're going to write down 3 key recall words for Sheila. I want you to write these 3 words down: injustice, penitent, and capitalism. You are going to need to look these up if you're not sure what they mean, otherwise your whole essay plan and the actual final essay you write will not work. It will be redundant, it won't be relevant. So then you need to look it up, look each word up, and then write a brief definition of them. So you've got the definitions as part of your plan. Then you need to go back to Sheila's quotes, pick one quote to match your keyword. So for each keyword, I want you to match the keywords to a quote. Then I want you to write the keyword next to the quote on your Word document, so on your quotes page. Then look at these 2 adjectives you wrote for Sheila in the opening of the lesson and match both of them to a quote on your page. So each adjective should match to a quote, okay, to show what she's like. And the whole idea then is that these 3 keywords and your best adjectives are your essay plan. So now and in the future. 3 keywords and an adjective for each character will form 4 paragraphs as your essay plan for the real exam. Now, I know some few of you say, oh, I can't plan, don't like planning, it's not relevant, doesn't work for me, but it is actually key. And you need to remember this acronym. The Queen and St. Roger will come tomorrow. And that stands for task, quote, analysis, reader, writer, context, and task. Okay, now on the next slide, you'll see exactly what they stand for and what you're being asked. And I will also show you shortly an example paragraph for your first keyword for penitent. Remember, this is all in one paragraph. So don't think that once you've done this once, you've done your essay. Okay? The TQASRWCT, task, quote, analysis, subject term, reader, writer, context, task. So linking back to task at the end and the beginning of each paragraph is just one paragraph. You need to do this 4 times in the exam. So this is the model answer, okay, for the first paragraph. And the question reminder is, how is the character of Sheila Burling presented in Act 1? So, this is the model answer. This is one paragraph. You need to do this 4 times. In Act 1, Sheila Burling is presented as a penitent character. Quote, she stated, if I could help her now, I would. Analysis and subject term. Priestley cleverly uses the pronoun I to demonstrate that Sheila is willing to take ownership and possession of her actions. The pronoun also shows her penitence as it shows her sorrow and regret for her initial actions. Reader. So how does the reader react? The reader begins to think that Sheila is different from her ignorant father. The reader might feel that Sheila offers a sense of hope for the future through her penitence. The writer, what the writer is trying to show, his intention. Priestley crafted this character to demonstrate his own personal moral message that the capitalist classes had to undergo a change for the future of Britain. Context. Politically, there was a real inequality in the British classes due to a huge wealth divide. So think Edwardian era. Socially, it would have been unheard of for someone of Sheila's class to feel sorrow or regret for the working class. So it's very unusual at the time. And linking it back to task, about how is the character of Sheila Burling presented in Act 1, you then would write something along the lines of, Sheila's penitence indicates a change in society and the move towards socialism that Priestley desired for society. So you're linking it back to context and task, and then obviously the writer's intention. So this is your plan, okay? I'd like you to print this off if you can, or do this on the PowerPoint. I don't mind either way. Okay, whatever's easiest for you. Remember, the penitence keyword is already done, so you need to do the other 2, injustice, capitalism, and then your chosen adjective, and plan for 4 paragraphs for your GCSE essay. And reminder, guys, if you don't write 4 paragraphs, the chances of you getting 30 marks or anywhere near 30 marks are very slim. So you do need a 4 paragraph essay structure for a GCSE style answer. So just a reminder of the question for this week. How is the character of Sheila Burling presented in Act 1 is your question. So it's a character question. I want you to write up all 4 paragraphs from your plan, so from the previous slide, into a Word document and upload it to Teams. Please don't send any images of work typed on a computer or any sort of Snapchat screenshots or anything. We just need it as a Word document, so it's a lot easier to see, and then upload it to Teams, please, with the turn in button. Okay, any problems, as always, just message me on the chat on Teams and I'll be happy to help. Otherwise, I will speak to you all again next week. Thank you very much. Bye bye.